What is going on, everybody? How's it going? Eric, Barish, Scott, Luis, Crypto Digs, what's up? What's up? How's everyone's weekend going? Hopefully, you guys are having a good day. Looks like some pretty good price action coming in actually right now. On Bitcoin right now. Actually, I'm hearing my kids fight each other in the background. So let's dig into this. Let's figure out what we're gonna do to prepare for this next week that's coming up, and get ready to kill it. Right. So we can see Bitcoin right here, selling down. Sorry, I was just trying to get my pen. We can kind of see it just selling down right here. We're gonna be watching these lows, of course, as we go forward. Compress this a bit. See what we got. We'll just go ahead and mark some of these lows. The biggest thing, guys, right? Obviously, Bitcoin's getting smacked down right now. And I think one of the biggest issues for a lot of people is they just develop this, negative bias, and you'll see kind of why once we get into the futures market and things like that. A lot of people are thinking because of the sell-off on Friday that we're going to go down, and kind of the same thing with crypto over the weekend. There is some news out on crypto as far as there's going to be an informal investigation kind of launched into them, but we also have some kind of crypto synthetic long plays that we'll be looking at later when we jump on the stock chart. I think there's some stocks that might play from people wanting to go that way. So Shep, JJ, Joey, Aaron, Jamie, what's going on? So let's go ahead and jump over to TradingView. I might have to take a break if my kids keep going at it. All right, so we can go ahead and erase this. And let's take a look at, let's start all the way out, right? Let's take a look at the past week. Just go ahead and erase all these chunks. Okay. This indicator always has to get turned back on. So annoying. Oh, it's not going to show it on the weekly. We'll look at this one. Clipper, what's up, man? So we can see, let's go back just till we get to this top, right? So what I'm doing here is we kind of see, and this is a weekly chart, right? You kind of see that these bars are all relatively the same level. I'm gonna try to look at, these, well, I guess this area here only, and then see where the volume's at, right? On a weekly level. So on a more macro level, where do we say? We said this one. Okay, so let's see. We can see that most of the volume is actually, up here around 46,000. Okay. So that's just something that, you write it down, look at, write it down in your chart or on your paper as you're doing your trade plan. And yeah, just take it in. And so now we'll look at the daily and see where value's at. We'll get a little bit closer this time, right? Because last time we were looking at about a few weeks. we could see just in the past couple of, well, say, since we've been in this level. We can see most of the volume is actually up here around 47,000. You know, so we have the POC at 46,231, but there's a lot of volume up here at 47,000 as well. And you can kind of see on the daily level, right? We've done this before. We've seen, you know, we've kind of seen this trick before. If you look at these daily candles and then look how these daily candles are forming underneath of this line. So it popped up, back tested, put in a poor high, came down. Now it's consolidating, right? And you know it doesn't have a lot of support underneath, and you know above there's only resistance is up here on 48,000. So that could be what you're looking for. All right, and so now we'll go into the 30-minute, and we'll look at actual volume just for the past 24 hours, right? And then actually we'll look a couple more days, see if we can see a trend forming here as far as where it's getting support at, right? Because we can see that we're putting in a little bit higher highs, right? So let's see if we can figure out, take this, connect it a second time there. That's fine. But you can see, you know, it's kind of compressing, you know, as this move is coming to an end after this, you know, this big kind of push back down. We're seeing this seller that was originally up here, as he's moved down, he's kind of balancing out, right? So we see our kind of balance area here right above. We popped into it, rejected it. Now we're coming back down to our lower trend line where we're going to try to put in a little bit more value down here. But notice what the big thing that you want to take note of is this value area that to start our balance zone, right? Our balance zone is designed to be a little bit tighter, but I mean, technically this is the balance zone. Ooh, sorry if that broke your guys' eardrums. So like technically that's the whole balance zone, but we make our own little balance zones, right? We have better opportunities, a little more zoomed in. But so here's the value area low of the balance zone where it starts, and prices below it. Right, so that's something that you're going to want to take note of. So that's when you're going to want to mark that level. And you're going to want to put an alert on there when it crosses this line, right? And the reason being is because if it holds this low, comes back in this area, finds some buyers back in this area, that long from whatever this line's at right here is going to be magic. Right, so we're looking at 46,124 to the long side. Right, and that's given that this thing comes back up into our balance right below, builds value above our 45,684, and then to the upside. Let's take a peek at ETH. And we can go kind of over what we've seen. We had talked about this in the live trade room about where all the supply was at, and every time that we came up to it, we sold off, right? Easy shorts. And then we also had some more easy shorts over the weekend. If you shorted every time that ETH, you know, for the most part hit 339, except for the last one, obviously wouldn't have worked, but I mean, the setup, it's a little bit different. But we saw the resistance there. We were able to get short the first time. It came back up. I was able to get short a second time. It came back up, and then, you know, we rocketed up I think this happened before I was awake though. We put in some value, and then you can see we're getting some volatility. And the reason we're getting a lot of volatility is because of all the news that's kind of coming out. We'll take a peek at some of the stuff. A big thing that I am seeing on ETH though is kind of this compression. So you can kind of see as this thing is going, it's kind of getting worse and worse for it, right? Tighter and tighter. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, guys, got a little wild there. But you can see ETH, and if we zoom in a little bit more, and so we'll kind of take ETH the opposite way as far as inside to outside, as far as the time chart goes. But you can kind of see if you're looking at your CVD, kind of where it's coming back down to and where previous structure was at, kind of match it up, right? It doesn't look great, but if it can keep holding support, right, then that means it's making higher lows, right? And that's what you're looking for. Look for it to build back up into value, gain ground above this 33.77, and then qualify that long, right? You can see I have this alert marked because I know if we get up here, we're really going to go, right? Because you got people shorting all of this, right? These people got stopped out finally, then shorted again from up here. So it showed you weak buyers, that this was just kind of weak buying, came back down, and this is kind of that time where this thing's going to have to decide if it's going to go or if it's going to have to come down a little bit further and search for some more buyers. What's up, all stars? All right. Let's take a peek at ADA. And I have some interesting, well, I hope some of you guys bought the dip over the weekend. Or I guess on Friday. And it looks like it's coming back down, right? So it had a really nice move up today. And let me just remove all the drawings. And now it's giving everything back, right? But it's coming back down into value. So you're gonna want to see it hold this value to kind of continue upside, right? But it's pretty strong, and it, to me, even though we did short it last week, I would be a little bit more careful this week with it. You don't want to just count it out just yet, just because some of the other cryptos are failing, or not really failing, but holding ground as well as ADA is. Just be careful with it. I wanted to show you guys this chart also, and I kind of called this I don't know, a while ago, but I was telling one of my buddies who bought a bunch of SOL that he said he should sell, right? Because what's happening is, at least as what I've read, and you guys can always help me out, historic day for 88, yeah. But, this thing is basically based off of NFTs, SOL is, right? Whereas ADA gets some power from some NFTs, but SOL was basically based off of NFTs completely. And you can see, based off of kind of how this is not holding any value at all, right? Came down, tried to test up, but didn't really put any value in or it just decided to test areas lower. I would, imagine that this thing's coming down. But I drew this shitty ass drawing right here because that's basically if you were to long-term invest into Sol, right now, you might pay a price. And if you guys have looked into any of those NFTs, that's what they look like. They look dumb as fuck, but they sell for like 10 grand or so. So feel free to sell that one for 10 grand. Just let me know. And then I also wanted to look at some Litecoin. Okay. Done nothing for the most part compared to the other cryptos. So in this situation, right, based off of how we consolidated, popped up, and then gave up everything, and now we're back to consolidating. So what we're really trying to track here is the value, and you can see where the point of control is at and how it got a little bit toppy, right? So we make our little balance zone over here, and then you think about, every time it's came back up here, it's had to sell off. Came back up in here, it's had to sell off. Came back up in here, had to sell off. Well, now some of these lows on Litecoin are looking, pretty close, right? And if it breaks, right, if you get, and it's pretty much set up like this on a lot of these cryptos, guys, but I just want you guys to be careful. And if you're, you have long-term positions, and I'm not saying to be bearish, but I'm just saying that you need to be ready to, if let's say if you're in Litecoin from like $50 or something like that, right? Just because you're up doesn't mean, if this thing starts to crash, you should probably try to open up a short position, even if it's like, 1x, whatever, just let it run, just to combat the money that you're going to lose based off your overall holdings. I need a series of piss poor drawings on the Solana chart. I should. And then let's go back to my favorite. You guys all know that old BNB is on its way down to the unknown here, right? And you guys know I've been tripping from BNB for a long time. Here, let me pull up the iPad real quick. I'm trying to keep this short, but also, I want it to go the way I want it to go. So sometimes when you're when you're studying or when you're setting up your trading plans, it'll go a little bit past your time, right? Well, then you've just got to, sometimes you just got to do that. Like when you're studying for school or something like that, and then, someone, you got to stay late, you got to do whatever you got to do just to make sure that you're getting the right information, right? Don't cut your chart analysis short or try to make a quick plan. It'd be better to just not trade than to just be like, well, my plan's good enough, right? Make sure you're, going through your plan. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull my iPad up. We can laugh at BNB together. It's gonna take forever. I have to log in. What the fuck? Oh, because I logged in on the computer. All right, we'll let that thing load up. But yeah, so we're taking a quick peek at BNB here, and we're seeing it. It's getting close to its lows. It is making higher lows, right? So you need to be tracking that. Just because we're laughing at it and because it's done shitty, and we knew it was going to do shitty, and we called it out that it was going to do shitty before it did shitty. You still got to remember that it can still do good, and you can't just write it off, right? We try to stay away from any biases here. So if you have a bias, right, try to lose it at the door. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Hold too. Yeah, it's looking it's looking pretty pretty lowish, right? And I'll have to edit this bottom line whenever it's finished dropping, but you can kind of see where value shifted to, and it did the same thing as everything else, right? We have our balance zone from back here. We saw balance peak up higher, came down, seeing balance or value shift to the upside, right? But as soon as we got back into the high range of that balance zone, had to come right back down to find some sellers, or to find some more buying, right? What's up, Kumar? No, I didn't check out dot. Yeah, we can. Let's take a peek. Yeah, looks like it's consolidating on the high. It's actually looking pretty strong. Hell yeah, Bearish. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, it's nice to get back on there. Let me change this real quick. I don't know why. I mean, it doesn't change anything. I just hate the fucking yellow. Yeah, so we can see it's basically consolidating on a high. You want to see if it can. So in this situation, what you're thinking, what you should be thinking is, depending upon where your entry is at, and just on an overall basis, as far as tracking value goes, you're looking at previous value over here. You're looking at value shifting up, and now we're getting price action outside of value, right? Because this just opened up at 5, so not too long ago, outside of value, and getting some resistance. And so what we want it to hold, or the way that we're going to track this, is first we're going to clear all these drawings because they're way far away. We're going to draw a line right on the top of this, and that's going to be our line in the sand, right? So if dot gets below that, and we get some correlation, right, with like Bitcoin and some of our other movers, we're going to look to trade this thing back down in to this low value area, which is going to be basically from here right to here, right, with a chance of resistance or support, I guess, on the way down right there, right, based off of structure. So we'll just have to watch that. Looks like we're about to get that. Looks like that 88 short's about to. Or what is this dot? This dot short's about to come to fruition. It's like, hey, I wanna be shorted. Short me. Fuck, is this not working, bro? Finally, fucking hell. Okay. Sorry, guys. I was trying to get my iPad working. Can we look at ATOM? Yeah. Are you talking about the crypto? Yeah, probably. Huh? Is there a futures contract for it? Ooh. You know what this looks like? This looks exactly like the US stock market. I wonder if I can watch this. Go to new chart. Let's go to levels chart. We'll put this on yes. We have to put it on daily. Look at this. Somebody come look at this. God damn it. Okay. And of course, this is just like in the past, you know, couple of days, but I mean, it almost looks identical, which is crazy. Oh, there goes Dot. Dot said, I'm ready to be shorted. Ready to be shorted again. And you can see, and so this is what I'm comparing it to, this drop right here compared to this drop here. It's kind of getting in, and a lot of people because of the all-time high. I don't know, man. To me it looks like it's just gonna continue, and the reason being is because of how the trend is going. Right, so look at the trend. It's always up, right? Even on these pullbacks, for the most part, it's always up, right? Outlier. And what is this right here? Watch. We'll probably do let's do some, let's look on the daily real quick. Get rid of these. I want to see what this little anomaly is right here. Indicators. Moving. We're gonna add two. Because I think that a lot of this move over the past week was just straight institutional money, kind of trapping, and I mean it's kind of like a conspiracy theory, I guess. They were trapping or kind of trapping people in August to punish them in September, and it's kind of in a different way than you would think. So look at this. This thing comes right to, is that the 50? Yeah. It comes right to the 50 SMA on that pullback and then gets bought back up, right? And that's why I think this is a retail trap. I think what's going to happen is there might be a pullback, and I think it's going to break the 50 moving average, wherever that's going to be at, right? Because it's going to be like way up here if that happens. And I'm not saying like today or tomorrow, but it'll break, and at the rest of the time the markets have been or will have been kind of just trading sideways. A lot of people will start selling this thing off, and the market makers kind of just trap them all below and then bring price back up. I actually kind of like this Cosmos one, or the Atom one. I've been looking at it. It's never a bad idea to take profits, right? Especially what you should do is look at just look at some of your levels. You said you got in at 17, so I mean you're way up. Hopefully you've taken some profits. If you haven't, there's no problem taking profits and then looking to get back into the position full size when you get back down into this area, this 28 to 26 area. If it comes back down into there, that's going to hold as probably a strong support at that level. 897, what's up, bro? Let's take a peek at the US stock market real quick. See, our ES had some slippage on Friday, and one thing I was really thinking of, and I was watching. So if you guys don't know how the futures work, right, they trade on contracts, right? If we click this up, you can see, if I just type in ES here, and this is for the futures, for the US stock market futures, S&P 500 futures, you can see all the contracts, right? The U, the Z, the H, the M, the U. Well, on Friday last week, we had contract rollover, right? And what I saw in the market, and I've seen it before, but I think really this time it hit me, it kind of hit me in my memory a little bit more, so I really comprehended it. But basically what was happening, and if you were watching, and I got blinded by order flow and wasn't paying attention to the chart, but what happened was in the morning we kind of popped up and we saw a lot of buying, but we came right to the top of this structure, right? But everyone was getting blinded by order flow that was trading the U contract, which is the September contract, right? And then some people are trading the Z contract, and this is on Friday, of course, and that's the December contract, right? And people just started trading December because it started to actually have volume on it now. But so what they were doing was short covering in the U contract. So institutional money, let's say that you're short in the U contract 1,000 contracts, right? Well, what do you have to do to get out of this position in the U? You've got to buy these back. So we saw short covering right off the morning of them, institutional money buying all their contracts back. So every retail trader, including myself, I thought it was some pretty strong buying, and actually took a little bit of a ride up, but then took a bad ride the second time. I was able to recover pretty decently. So, but you know, that's neither here nor there. They're buying this back, which shows buying. A bunch of retail traders get trapped, and what they do, they come over to December and they sell it. So over here, when you're trading the December contract, you were able to actually see that this price was going up, but there was no buying because it wasn't coming up on institutional money. It was coming up because it's compared to the U contract, right? So it was coming up on really low liquidity, and these people that bought all this back, they came over here and they sold it. So price came up, and then they just started dumping it on, and then that's where this happened. They took a little bit of profit. They saw that the market was still bullish. Let these buyers get everything in. They thought they were buying the dip, right? This is your first round of dip buyers here. And this is where they get stopped out. But so this is why I always tell you guys, let some value build, right? Sometimes value, you know, can be 2 bars and you could catch a move from here to here, pretty decent move. But what happens is you see this comes up, and now you're looking at this bar, you get in right on this top, not paying attention to all the single prints that we just put in, and then you get trapped, right? So if you put single prints in and you start to trend, and this was a trending day, and we'll look at it here on the TPO actually, real quick. And so you guys can see I made some new templates. And one is showing the overnight session, and one is showing the Globex session. So the Globex session is going to be in blue and green, and then the actual US cash session is going to be in gray and white. So anyways, let me zoom in on this. We can see where the open was at. We can see the open's way up here, right? So opens up here, starts to bid up. You start to see a lot of buying. Look at all the, I mean, you can kind of see on the volume profile just the buying that came in right off the open, that trapped a bunch of retail traders long, and then started trading down with some pretty steady volume, some pretty hard force, right? But you can see right off the bat, I mean, I don't need to expand it, but B period opens up, which is the second period of the day. B period opens up, ticks 1 tick to the upside, and then starts to tick down. And then, you know, as C period opens up way down here, leaves single prints, right? And we filled single prints later on during H period, but not all the way, which gave us a nice re-short area, right? And for that, I'll expand it to kind of show you how the day went. Because we ended up getting off of the trade room on Friday, but I ended up trading all day like a degenerate, so don't be like me. But I was so frustrated, so I had to. But you can kind of see, right? We put these single prints, you had a bunch of people, you know, institutional money soaked this up. Retail got long right here naturally, right? Not paying attention to single prints because they're just paying attention to their crossover. And I think I told you guys about that, how that MACD crossover was going to get a bunch of people this weekend on crypto. It reminded me to look at that in a little bit. But you know, you can see that this is just not one of those things that you want uh, to try to time or to try to go against, right? Normally you're trying to time something, you're trying to time it in the direction that it's going, right? And I can't really say that enough because I just see people fight that nature. They're like, no, we must I must call the bottom and I must call the tops, right? Just remember, it gets you nowhere. Right, we can see the Globex session right now. Let me see. As far as the overnight session goes, what we're looking at here is it didn't break any of the lows, saw it open, kind of tested the low down here, still left good excess, traded back up, filled these singles, right? Stopped a couple of ticks above these singles, and then has kind of come back down, and it's just building value where it had no value before. So that's actually good news. To me, I'm still looking for the upside, and we'll bring over the trading view chart just because it's a little bit easier to look at as far as like levels and stuff go and alerts. But as we're looking at it, and I want to look at it on the weekly first. And when you look at something like this, like, you know, people are like, oh shit, Friday was terrible, but I mean, things fucking straight up, you know? So like by fighting this short side, like, yeah, you know, having a long bias is going to work until it doesn't work. And that's a big thing. And you know, Jim Dalton says that a lot. Like, he says that traders tend to do something that works until it doesn't work. And so, you know, since I've been long and going long all the time, for the most part, I mean, I do short, but you know, I do have a little bit more caution on the short side with the ES. But I mean, you can see this thing has just been to the upside. So until it starts actually breaking, we can see a little bit of structure down here. But we start to see it come back down into structure. We're looking at this thing, you know, it just looks like it's just gonna go. You know what I mean? And so let's go back to the daily, right? Same idea. Has its little pullbacks, but it just keeps climbing higher. So until, you know, I mean, this is a big zone down here. We do have a lot of value kind of put in right here in this area, and that happens to be at a pretty psychological number. Around that 4400, that 4400 level. That's going to be that. Well, actually, let's move this there. All right, let's go to the 30-minute. Was how much you can make off alts right after BTC drops hard and consolidates. Yeah, that's called a correlation trade, my friend. Those are nice. I always love me a correlation trade. Takes out the thinking, right? You're just like, this thing's gonna fucking drop because Bitcoin's down a fucking $1,000,000. Like, oh. You just click the scanner, figure out which coin is not down, right? That's why I like this chart right here. If you guys are looking, the lines chart, got pretty much all the coins that I trade on here. You know, and so let's say if I see Bitcoin drop, I'll click the daily. It'll show me who's down and who's up, right? We can see AVAX and Sol on the low. Like I told you guys, Sol's a piece. So hopefully you didn't invest your life into it. If you traded it, great, because it had really good moves. But you know, read into something. It pretty much only was valuable because of NFTs, and if NFTs die, which eventually they will because they're fucking dumb, you know, Sol's not going to be there, right? But yeah, you just jump over to here and you're like, oh shit, okay, Bitcoin's down. What's not down? Okay, dot's not down yet. Well, let me look at dot, see if I can get in this dot short, right? Something like that. Go back to the ES real quick. Some levels that we're going to want to track. And I'm just going to have to do this on the TPO because when you're trading the ES, you need to be precise, right? Precision is key. You can afford to be a little bit lackadaisical or not exact on crypto just because of how it trades. It's not doesn't have the liquidity that the ES does or the S&P 500 does. But we need to make sure that we're laser focused. We'll mark that overnight high. It didn't fill the singles, right? Easiest short in the book right there, guys. We're gonna mark these singles because technically it doesn't count that they're filled, right? Because it's overnight. We know that. We'll see how it trades. If it doesn't break the low, which we'll mark the low. Yeah, Friday's low at 44.47, and then we'll mark the close as well. And we're gonna change the close to red. But if it doesn't break the low of Friday, if it breaks in Globex, whatever. But if it doesn't break it tomorrow during the cash session, I might be a buyer here. Overnight, if you're gonna trade, right, you're gonna have a pretty nice range to trade in. Until it starts breaking these lows or filling these singles, you're gonna have a buy breaks and sell rallies. So buy breaks, I mean like if it breaks value area low, look for a long. If it breaks value area high, look for a short, right? Until it gets out of that zone. So let's say if it came right back down right here, you got short, right? Your stop's going to go right here. So make sure that you're managing that risk. That's or your stop could go here, but that's a pretty tight stop in Globex. Globex, you can tend to be a little bit more easy, right? If it breaks here, I'd wait to see how it acts at this F. If it doesn't break this F, I'd get short, right? My stop would go right up here above the E period, and I would look to trade back down to the point of control. So if you're able to do that, or if that's what happens, 44, 64, 75, down to the point of control at 57. What I say, 55 or 64 to 57. So what's that? 7 points. 7 times 5 is $350 on one lot. So that would be your gain, right? So 350. Your risk, right? Because you're going to short here, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ticks. So you're risking 100. Yeah, it's the ES. Can you trade it at night? Yeah, of course you can. You can trade it right now. So pretty good risk to reward ratio on this trade, right? Not bad at all, honestly. I never trade that. Okay, to be honest with you. I'm gonna set it up probably on a bracket. Really, fucking do it right now. Chart trader. We gotta make a strategy. We gotta do a custom strategy here. And we said our stop loss was gonna be, we'll do 9 ticks because we said 8 ticks. We'll give it 9, and our profit was going to be 350. Would be, what's that? 7 points. 7 times 4 is 28. Our profit target is 28 points. We will put a stop strategy. Put a custom stop strategy. Let's go once it goes 10. We'll go plus. Let's add another lot. This one, we're gonna go 18. Custom. One's gonna be 8. 2. We're gonna add one more lot. 14. Oops. 14. So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm setting up a bracket order so I can place this order for overnight, right? So I don't have to stay up and manage it. The profit target 2 must be greater than profit target 1. Oh, god damn it. 14, 18, 28. We'll do a buy limit. Or no, fuck no. I'm gonna do a sell limit right there. Boom. I know it took forever, but it's a nice overnight setup. I like that setup. So, you know, why not take it, right? So right here I'm going on 3 lots. Good risk to reward ratio. I'm just gonna leave it on for the overnight session. Kind of see how it goes. Max risk on that trade right there is $300. If it loses, I lose $300. No big deal. Versus the, you know, the reward that it can possibly attain, but it has, you know, defined risks. Does sings fill 90% of the time? Singles? It just depends. You know, it really just depends. What the big thing is paying attention to it and you know, taking the information from it. If it does fill, what to do from that. Right. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq real quick. And then we're going to jump into some COT reports, and then we'll finish off with, well, actually, we got to hit some news because there's a couple of news events I want to talk about, and then we'll finish off with some options and some strategies that might be playable this week. As far as what kind of options strategies I'm looking at. See, the Nasdaq got massacred, but it's coming right back to a point. Right, it's down about 300 points, and I know you guys are thinking 300 points, that's not shit. It's, you know, it's leveraged. You got to think about it. You got to think about the leverage there. Imagine 100x on 300 points. But you can see, you know, we have good value below. I'm kind of have my level down here from this 15,173 to 15,093. If we do pull back into that area, that's going to be area I'm looking to buy long-term long. And how am I going to do that? Well, I will show you. Let's look at our Fangman plus E. That's Fang plus Tesla. As you can see, Apple got massacred. Right? Tesla got massacred too. Even, you know, the amazing Google. Microsoft was down a little bit. Amazon, Facebook, Netflix. But Apple kind of led the way down, right? Apple, as we know, carries the most market cap. Oops. What is it? Okay. So Apple is almost back down into our buying zone. Okay. So what I'm going to look for this week is some strength from the institutional money that are, you know, have laid this retail trap. You know, in the past week, I think it was the past week, more calls got opened on Apple than like ever in the history of the calls, right? Which is just, you know, got to be a sign. Someone's got to pay attention to that. We see, you know, previous resistance, right, didn't act as support. So that's why we have our lines. Our support zone comes down into here. That's where we're going to be looking to get long. And a way that I want to do this, since we're here, is via strangle. The way a strangle works, for those of you guys who don't really know options, is I'm going to buy a put and a call at the same level, right? And let me show you, let me see if I have the calculator on here. Options, profit calculator. Okay, here we go. So this is what we're looking to do. So we're going to go to the stock, which is Apple, AAPL. Stock price 149.02. You know, a little bit of this is probably including Globex. Oops, let me go to the charts. I've got to pull up Apple on a different screen so we can look at options. Okay. So if we buy a call and we sell, or no, we buy a put and a call. So if we buy at the money calls, let's see, 261 for a 149 call. So price per option is 149, right? Remember, these are leveraged, so they're times 100. So per option cost 149, but that actually means $149. And we're going to buy a put, but we can, does it actually have all the options on here? Well, they updated this website, which is cool. Okay, so we're looking at September 149 calls. 49 call 261. Boom. So much easier. Dang, they fixed this website. It's super cool. Okay, so we got 149 calls, and we're also going to buy 149 puts. Okay, so our max, what is this? Is that my drawing? So our max loss right here is going to be the sum of these two numbers, right? 161 and 183. So $514 to put this position on. That's how much it's going to take. And so this is a Friday expiration, right? This is at, why is this in a percentage? IV change, percentage of maximum. Here we go. So 514 is going to be your max risk, and that's going to be at expiration, and that's if price stays flat, right? And so on Monday, which is the 12th, right? Because today's the 11th. On Monday's 12th, hang on, today is the 12th. Okay, so the 13th. So what we need to see, right, to make this profitable, is we know that by the 13th, this thing's going to lose $22, right? Every day. If it trades sideways, it's going to go against us because we need it to move. With a strangle, you're buying a call and buying a put. So you're just expecting price to not stay flat, right? And that's kind of what I'm expecting from Apple. I'm expecting Apple to get some good volatility. And you can actually look at the volatility on Apple right now, and it is about 50, I want to say 40. Say 46. Oh, it's not going to change it. 40. There we go. Okay. So we buy this option, and it, of course, it's going to cost a little bit more because it depends where Apple opens, right? But if Apple opens in value, I'm going to put on a strangle, and what that's going to be giving me the option that, this is just a projection. They're expecting it to cost a little bit more. But if we get a move in either direction, this thing can make some cash. And if it's a strong move, what you can do is you can cut the other option off, right? So let's say you paid $1 to go long and $1 to go short, right? Well, price starts going down, and now this dollar is worth $2. And this dollar is worth 50 cents. Right? So you're minus 50 here, but you're plus 100 here. So you're actually net plus 50. Right? And so you're probably hanging out somewhere like right here, 148.80, 148.50 as price is going down. And you can see if price stays in this range, this 152 to 146 by Friday, these aren't going to be worth shit. And you're going to have to be out of them. But so as this goes down, what that's going to do is going to start to see an increase in some of these numbers because you cut the long side, right? That's called a strangle. If it's confusing, no, I'm sorry. Wait, that's more of an advanced kind of option strategy, I guess. I don't know if we can see more of the or I guess these are just the Friday's expiry, yeah. And if we did that, we actually did that with next week's expiries, you'd have to pay a little bit more, but it actually might be worth it. We're not paying that much more. This time we're paying $6.55, and we paid last time like $5.70. And probability for reward is higher. We might have to go the following week. Yeah, because definitely. So think about this. You're gonna spend the $600 to control those two pieces, right? Let's say. Let's just call it 300 for this one and 300 for this one, right? Well, if you hold both of them, so price comes down to 145, right? You'll be up, so 655 plus. So this is telling you that this one that was worth $3 when you bought it will be up, will be worth $8. Right, with the implied volatility, of course, and the time. This one will probably be worth fucking $0. Well, actually, probably won't be worth $0. It'll be worth something. It'll probably be, so this thing will probably be worth like 600, right? And this thing will probably be worth like 150. So you'll be up a little bit, right? 150 levels, like in this area here, coming into next Thursday. But if you were to see the move as it's coming and then close this one early, right? So let's say instead of even just at 150, you close this 300 at 200, right? So you took a $100 loss, but now this number is going to be 600 plus the 200, so you're actually going to be at 800, so it'll be up $200, right? I'm not using all of you. Yeah, my kids are interested, man. They like to learn this kind of stuff. They're interested for sure. But yeah, so that's one of the big plays I'm going to be watching next week. Kind of all of this tech. Apple just has the easiest options to play. Because if we see Tesla, 714 looks like a good buy spot. Even down here 683. But I like the 714 level, but I do think it's going to move off of this level. I don't think it's going to stay. And as you can see, And this is not showing us. Let me, where the fuck is my other chart? Let me see if I can find this. I had a stocks chart open for a TPO stocks chart. Here it is. Where'd you go? There it is. Okay. Let me pull this over. And let's look at Apple. I can just show you guys what I'm looking at. Okay. We wanted to look at Tesla, didn't we? 100. Okay. And so I have it, I have it set up for intraday trading, but you can kind of see, we zoom this down just a little bit. We're gonna scrunch it up here pretty bad. It looks like it's lagging pretty good, but we'll use our imagination. Let's load some more days. Apparently 60 is just not gonna do it. 90. You're not ready for options? Sometimes options are easier. Buying stocks on Binance, is it a good idea? I don't think you can buy stocks on Binance. Yeah, I don't think so. Oh, things being all freezy. All right, well, we're just gonna have to use our imagination because it's not gonna give us the levels that we want it to give us. So, anyways, we're looking at 7-11 plays, right? But you can see kind of this 763 level. There's a value gap, right? Let's just call it that. There's a value gap. There's no price or value put in this area at all, right? And we just tested it, came back down to the top of previous value. So what I'm going to look for is either a push back into the 712 or a test back up here to the 776. Well, if we're expecting something like that, that's when you run the strangle. Because, and I'll show you something real quick before we do this, just to show you the, if you were to just buy a call, let's say you decided Apple's going to go up, you're going to get that same call. So you're going to spend $335, right? And if it doesn't get up there every single day, right, you start losing money. $8, $23, $40, $57, $76, $96, right? Until you get to that max loss, which is gonna be this $335. That's not ideal, and you can tell how fast it drifts off. Look, even if it's up at 153 by expiration, it's not gonna be worth shit. So this protects you on both sides. This strangle, and there's other options, right? You can do you can do spreads, like you can do debit spreads, but right now we're just gonna look at the strangles. I could go on and on about this shit all night. So let's look at Tesla. We wanted to do at the money weekly strangle. We'll do a 735, and we'll buy a 735 put as well. And you want to look for the price difference here, right? So this is 1660, 1520. This one's already in the money. That's probably a good way to go. And let's calculate this bad boy. And you're gonna have to spend $3,100 for this, right? So it ain't gonna be cheap. Let me look up the implied volatility of our friend Tesla. Tesla's implied volatility is about shit. At this 149 is 53%. 53. Get this calculation. So it gives us a pretty good opportunity for profit, right? Because you got to think about this, right? Yeah, you're spending 3180, but how much are you actually risking? You're not risking 3180, right? Because that's not how this would work. Think about this if you're in here from the cryptoverse and you're not really sure how this is. I'm a trader, not a number. Switch to TradeStation. Switch to TradeStation. I use TD Ameritrade. Anyways, so think about if you're putting on 100, you're putting on like 5x or whatever, right? But when you get in this trade, your liquidation point's here, right? That's where you would lose all $100, but you run a stop loss, right? Your stop loss is like, 19 bucks or something, who knows? But that's your actual risk. So when you guys are looking at options, you shouldn't be looking at, okay, it cost me $3,100. That's my risk. I'm risking all of this, right? That's called gambling. But so on the first day, and this is where Tesla's at, right? With the implied volatility, if we get a 1% move on the first day, we're looking at $1,600. And this is going to be, pretty big move, 1.89% move. But if we just get a 1% day, 1,500 bucks, right? And if we cut our short side early, if Tesla goes up, right, that's going to move this up from 1,500 probably closer to like 2K or something like that, right? And our stop loss, if you look at it, think about where your stop loss is going to be at, right? If this is trading sideways, how much you're going down every single day as well, right? Because it's worth 1683 here, but you see basically 250 bucks goes away by day, and then you see another basically gets cut in half, then it gets cut in a fourth, and then it starts to get really ugly. So this play, if you're going to play it, it's going to have to work out, fast. You're going to have to hope you get in there. Oh, slogan on one of those ads. They're wanting to know. But yeah, that's some things that I'm looking for as far as that goes. You can see the Bitcoin dominance kind of, on the way up. Did anybody end up jumping on that dot short? Where the fuck is the chart at? Here we go. We talked about a dot short like right in the beginning of the stream, kind of, for a little bit after we started. You can see, it sold right back down, almost to our previous structure, right? And remember what we were talking about, right? If it's going to hold this level. So it looks like it came down, couldn't get to those singles just quite yet, so it had to go back up and back test the POC. Right, but if you were to have gotten short, at this level, talking your stop loss is probably at 37,210, right? You're still safe. You're still safe here, right? I'd like to see it get back below here and close, especially with it failing a couple ticks below. I want to see it really. I really want to see it back below this level, or I would close, but that's just me. What? Yeah. Love you. Good night. Yeah. Good night. But it's still, yeah, you can kind of see dots just kind of battling itself. So nice, Kumar. Good stuff. That is helpful. Plus one high. Nice. Plus your stop loss is up here. Okay. Yeah, it's not a bad spot for it. Hey, what's up, Kevin? See, now we're getting back below it. And so when we get below it here, what you're going to look for is you're going to look for some initiated selling. And we can be able to see that a little bit easier. Oops, over here. Let's watch. There it is. So that's initiated selling right there. And then you see those responsive buyers right there. Where did they come in at? Right at the low of C. Sellers came back in at the same level. So we'll watch this C low. That's where we know the buyer's at. He's here. He's at C. He's saying, you shall not pass. And the seller's saying, bro, I'm filling those fucking single prints, right? So if you didn't have an opportunity to get in the short, right, it's kind of teasing you with a second opportunity. All right, Eric, we'll see you later. Yeah, see you in the morning. Have a good night. I gotta get going to bed soon too. See, there it goes. So right when you see the buyer come in, just mark it, right? Okay, now I know where my buyer's at. No, we're not trying to remember. Mark it. And then just watch that level. So now you're in the short, right? And you can probably move your stop loss back down to the POC. So now your stop loss is in profit, or should be close to profit, right? Even if you got short value or low. And I mean, look, we're past the buyer again. So now we're seeing some buying coming in here. It's nothing. Oh, there's a good buyer. Okay, so now this is where it gets tricky. So we got a buyer down here, right? We had a buyer back here. As price gets above that level, you've got to pay attention if he comes back in or not, right? And you can see that. That's a classic trap, right? Because a bunch of people got stuck long right here and pushed up to see if it could get more buying. And if it can get buying and stay above this level, that's fuel to the upside. Because some of these people are going to get stopped out right here. We'll probably see price jump above that. And then back to the point of control. All the way back up here. He said, how many platforms do you use, bro? Sometimes I get confused. I use a lot of the stuff that I use for you guys. Like I have EXO charts for you guys. I have Trading View for you guys. Most of the time, like if I'm just trading, I'm just using Bybit and NinjaTrader, and that's it. Right? Those are two platforms that I'll execute on. And I mean, I use TD Ameritrade, I guess, for my stocks and options and stuff. That looks like this. This is all those options we're looking at. Yeah, I mean it's not too many. But yeah, last but not least, let's look at some COT reports to kind of end us off, and we'll look at a little bit of news as well for Bitcoin. But so we're seeing here with Bitcoin, right? They took off some of that long position, hedged it on the short side. So this is profit, right? Not a big position taking off some profit, but small addition to the short side just in case you start to head down, right? So it's just a nice little hedge. You can see leveraged funds, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And this is as of last Tuesday, right? Like we talked about. 27 platforms, 187 screens. Let's take a look at the S&P. So you guys can see if any of my futures traders are still here, this is something to take note of. And remember this as of last Tuesday. So Friday was kind of the day that we had that real big push down. Not a big position taken off the long side, but a pretty big position taken off the short side, right? That's probably a mistake, right? And this is as of last Tuesday. So who knows how much they added back on. So next week's COT report for the ES, this is the ES here, is going to be really beneficial to let us know what institutional money is doing. You can see leveraged funds cut their short position and got long, right? So they bought the top. Like I told you, leveraged funds, for the most part, are just fucking, giving us the liquidity that we need to move around in the market. They're, not doing a whole lot for anyone. Let's take a peek at the VIX futures, right? You can see big long position, small hedge on the short side, right? So they're not really sure. That's what that tells me, and this is as of last Tuesday. So let's take a peek at that. You can see, let's look at this on a daily. It's gonna be like, make it a little bit easier for this. You can see an old trend line that I had. I did take a play on the VIX a while back. And it was based off this big ass fucking move. But so we can see that it's right at 20. And so what can happen on Monday, especially, and this is how the VIX works, because the VIX works based off of volatility within the S&P 500. If the market opens up flat and trades within value from the previous day, the VIX is just going to die and it's going to come back here, back to that 16 level. Right? This is something that you can look for, or even make a zone kind of. But basically 1660 to 1511, you should be a buyer in the VIX going into the future. If it comes down that low, you're late, I'd say now. But you can see based off the COT report that asset or institutional money is thinking to the long side. That's as of last Tuesday. And if we go to the chart back on Tuesday, we have Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Right, they had added to the long position, so it was a good add. But they're hedging against the short a little bit. So they're probably taking some profits, and if the VIX comes back down, be patient and get ready to buy it. Right? So let's go to our option maker. And this is where we can do a call spread. And so we'll do the VIX. And with a call spread, what you're going to do is you're going to buy one call and sell another. Does TD Ameritrade have its own platform? Yeah. Yeah, that's this one right here. It's called Thinkorswim. It's free. NinjaTrader, EXO, TradingView, Quant Tower, and GoCharting. Oh yeah, I forgot about Quant Tower. Yeah. I use it all, man. Good to be multifaceted. I also use Sierra charting. I've been using Sierra charting a lot. But NinjaTrader fixed what I wanted them to fix, so I'm probably gonna stay. So we're looking to get long calls at 16, right? So we want to buy a call, a $16 call. So it's gonna be more expensive, right? But then we're gonna sell a different call that's gonna be a little bit deeper into the money. So we're gonna sell this. We bought the 16 for 4. We can sell. Oh, actually, no, we don't want to do that. I want to sell this $20 call. And so we're going to spend 300 bucks. And how we're going to win on this is off of the VIX staying flat, right? And you can see, let me look at the VIX, and so we can look at the volatility, so we can change these numbers a little bit, right? VIX volatility is, holy shit, it's like 252%. What the fuck? I guess we'll just put it at 100 because way up there. 100. Okay. So we can see with our option, all we need is for time to kill it, right? Because we sold the 20s, but we bought the 16s. And I wish this gave us a better chart to look at it. But basically, what we're looking for is for it to trade sideways, right? It's for it to trade in that 20 level just for, just for a couple of days. And if it does, like I said, we spent 300. If it does just trade sideways, we're gonna net nice $100. Be cool. And you can see if it starts to trade, if it starts to move, right? If you see prices start to skyrocket up, normally the VIX is going to come down. But if it trades sideways, the VIX will probably trade sideways too. So we have a good opportunity here from $20, let's say. That's max profit. The 2120, go back to our chart. So if we get the VIX to finish, what do we say, 2120? If the VIX doesn't finish, or if it finishes here in the past couple of days, or the next couple of days, we'll be at max profit. And we'll be at max profit by Friday, by expiration. The risk to reward ratio is no bueno. 1 to 3. No, so you got to think about it, right? Yeah, you're spending 300. You're spending 300 to get this option, right? But it's only the only way that you're gonna lose all 361. It's probably including fees, I guess. Is, and we'll just call it 300, is by holding the option till expiration, right? But you'd have a stop loss. And so this is what I was explaining earlier. Imagine if you're leveraging $100 on 5x or whatever, and you're trading Bitcoin, let's say, and you have your liquidation point, which is all $100, but you also have your stop loss, which is like $19, right? Well, you do the same thing with options. What's up, Young Cryptic? You're not just going to be, oh, I just bought the option. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You could actually probably, in my opinion, I think if you were to sell a credit spread, if you were to do a credit spread here, you might actually, one actually might be ripe for a credit spread. So we want to buy, yeah, we wanted to, yeah, we want to sell, or no, we want to buy. Let's look at the chart real quick. Where does you think it's going to go down? But resistance is going to be 21. 21. So we want to buy this one, and we want to sell. Oh, no, we don't want to buy that one. We want to, the fuck is going, hang on a second. Okay, I'm fucking off. Would we want to buy this one? Oh no, we want to buy the low one. That's what we want to do. Okay. I'm confused. Confused myself. Here we go. Okay. So what we're thinking is max low is going to be this 16. Right. So we want to buy this one. We want to buy, where did we say immediate support was at? We want to buy the 19. We want to sell 16. We don't think it's going to get down there in a week. Right? We're going to calculate it. We've got to update volatility. Okay. So this is actually a better way to put on that same trade. This thing is actually giving you some different outputs. So it says max risk is 70 or 60 bucks. It's not taking in the time decay. So it's actually a pretty decent, and if you can get filled. So basically what we're doing is we're buying something for 230, but then we're selling something for 470. So we bought the 19 calls. Oops. Where'd I go? And then we sold the 16 calls. Where's the chart at? So we bought the 19 calls. We bought calls right here, and then sold these 16 calls. So if price stays up in our support zone. Oh. Sorry guys, there's like big one on in my house right now. Oh, this calculator is acting kind of weird because that's not the math that I'm getting on my notepad. I don't think it's doing it right. If we just did an at the money fucking call. Okay. So we want to buy the 19, sell the 20. We should get a debit. Well, that's a debit. Why is it a fucking debit? See, this thing's doing it backwards. I don't know. I think maybe that credit spread thing is fucked up. We'll just do it this way. To go. So that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to buy this $20 call and sell the $16 call. And we're going to do it for the premium. All right, so as long as the VIX, expires below this resistance zone, so down here 19, let's say, we'll basically break even for the week. 19, negative $5. Not a bad idea, right? Max risk is going to be 1%. But we're getting paid to make this. Right, so we're getting paid $295 based off of the gap. $295. And then if it goes down, it'll go down a full percent, will be negative 105. Right, that's the maximum risk that we would do. Right, but if we started seeing the VIX get much above 20 based off of our chart analysis, right, much above this 21 level, we know we're just gonna have to cut that trade loose, right, or add another leg to that trade to kind of cover ourselves. All right, Sorry, we got off a little bit off track right there. That just looks like a good setup, and I kind of want to take a peek at that. I'll do it a little bit later. Let's look at one more COT report. We'll look at oil. You could see some profit taking, some hedging against the long, or yeah, hedging against the long. Can tell that they, they can tell that they're a little bit toppy, right? If we look at CL, you can see that it got a little bit beat up, worse than some of the other futures. Right? It has some good support down here. Still put in a higher high, but it's been getting punished lately. But this is on the daily chart. But they're taking some profit off, right? Just in case. Just being a little bit careful here. Now I want to go to actually I want to go to crypto news. Crypto news. Nice short call on Dot. Yeah, for sure, bro. There goes Dot. Yeah, I mean it just wanted to. You could tell. See, look where it came right to structure. Right? Now watch for all the short covering and see where the short covering stops. Sorry, we're not on our chart anymore. But if we were, we'd have to track the volume and see where the volume came in. You can see some volume. It looks like probably right around that 35,365 level on Dot. Anyways, so crypto news, and let's take a peek at it. The world's first cryptocurrency cruise ship is coming out. And remember what I said, most of this stuff's already priced in. Altcoin surge looks dangerous and has echoes of May crash. JP Morgan, right? You know, what is that? What would you guys call that, right? That should almost be fucking illegal. This fear mongering that they're kind of doing. A bank is telling you, don't buy crypto. Don't buy crypto, right? What's that? What is that doing? Right? Driving price down. What the fuck do you think they're doing? Right? Buying that shit up. Let's type in news investing. No, this investigation. So here's one. SEC is ready to regulate cryptocurrency, right? This on September 9th, last week. So it's priced in, right? But if you haven't heard about this kind of stuff, this is what I'm talking about. This is elevating. Look at this. SEC is putting out, hey, if you don't know what bonds are, invest in bonds. No need to buy crypto. Crypto is shit, right? Just a little kind of trying to toss you off the scent. Let's type in, if we get rid of news. Should have saved the article, guys. I'm sorry. The fuck it's at. Anyways, this investigation that they've been talking about into Bitcoin and ETH and a couple of other of the cryptos is starting Monday. So I kind of expect them to just shit out a bunch of bad news and drive things down so they can buy it up, fucking that's just what they do. Let's look at this. No, I do not, Kumar. I do not hold Soul on spot. Do not. Not a believer. The most recent addition to my long-term portfolio was ADA, and that was at $1.87. But let's look at this real quick and then we'll call it a day. Change everything to a day. It'd be super cool if they just fucking did it themselves, but I don't think they do. But you can kind of see there's like the Fang with Nvidia and Tesla, but Nvidia stayed strong, right? And that's off of that chip news. CR crypto's kind of just going down, right? ADA, Link, BNB, ETH, Bitcoin's even down, right? Dot's catching up. Dot short, easy correlation play, right? We looked around, we saw that Dot hadn't gone yet. We were like, oh yeah, let's short Dot, right? And now look at Dot, just falling off a goddamn cliff. So pretty easy play on that. If we come up here and look at our 11 sectors of the S&P, see pretty much everything closed down. XLE kind of leading on the upside. XLV, I took an XLV play long. It was $5 per contract. I bought 200 contracts. Lost it all, right? Obviously, because the fucking price went down. But that kind of surprised me. I thought healthcare would be a little bit stronger. And I thought we might be able to get some plays off that. And that reminds me, the one thing, options that I wanted to look at are PayPal. Right? Because PayPal got beat up because the rest of the market got beat up. But a lot of these banks are struggling. A lot of financials are struggling. And if the financials are struggling, a lot of times these other companies that step in to do the, kind of the process, and PayPal is a big, strong one. It does have a little bit of correlation with crypto, but that can be a really good options play. And then Sofi Technologies, this one is going to be a decent long play that I'm going to look for. It's a relatively cheap stock, so what I'll probably end up doing is just buying the stock. Sofi. Trying to find it on. There it is. And the options are cheap too. These are weeklies though. I might look at these. These are Octobers. I might look at some long plays coming up here soon. I mean, maybe not on Monday, right? I want to run a lot of strangles on Monday, probably. But yeah, that's just, something you're gonna want to look out for sure. But yeah, other than that, that is it. It is 9/11. Shout out to my veterans, right? And remember the day of yesterday, when all Americans actually came together on 9/11 because of this, kind of historic tragedy that we endured, right? I don't know how old everybody is, but I remember I was in the 8th grade during 9/11. I remember, I'm from the West Coast, so it had already happened. Coming from a family that doesn't really, well, my mom's not big into politics and stuff like that, so we didn't think of anything like a lot of people think when it comes to, is this an inside job and stuff like that, right? And if you're thinking like that, and kind of just put that hate out of your heart for a day or two, and just remember that Americans lost lives, regardless of if it was regardless if it was, fucking anything, right? If it was insider attacks, if it was actual, terrorists, whatever you believe, people still lost their lives, right? So have some respect. We've got our men and women out here kind of struggling every day with the COVID. So have some understanding for all the people out there, and just make yourself better and try to make everyone else around you better, right? That's what you should be doing every single day. No need to be on the hate train or the try to get someone to think like you, train, right? And I'm seeing this a lot, as you know, with my kids and the school that they're going to, and how, you know, kids are kind of pressured into caring what other people think. You know what I mean? Fuck them. You know, that's what I tell my kids. I'm like, fuck those kids. You don't like, who gives a shit about what any of those kids think, right? Um, Everyone was supportive of the U.S. during that time. Yeah, you know, and that's kind of what we need to realize on 9/11. Regardless of what you've got going on, just remember, like, on a day like that, that's a day where we got to come together and be proud to be an American. And one thing I was thinking, you know, when the national anthem comes on, and I was actually, like, so they played the national anthem this morning when football started, right? And one of my kids was talking. I said, "Hey, shut your mouth. Have some respect." Right? Um, but like, regardless of if you're standing, if you're kneeling, if you're raising a fist, if you're praying, if you're holding your hand across your heart, whatever you're doing when that national anthem plays, right? Just remember that you know, that's a sign. Even if the national anthem has some racist underlyings that it may or may not have, right? Remember that that's what brings us together. You know, brings the Americans together as a country. And I know some of us in here are not from America, so it might be a little bit different for you guys. But you know, just some things that we saw out there, uh, you know, out there today that I saw, and I kind of saw, like, my wife had to deal with this one nurse who was saying, like, how can you guys even have time to think about people that died on 9/11 when people die every day of COVID? And it was just like, fucking hell, you know, everyone's got to complain about something. So, you know, just do your part as a person, not necessarily just an American, because we have a lot of other countries on here with us, but just do your part as a human being, part of the world population, to, you know, better yourself and better other people. And, you know, make sure you're managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. And, you know, if you get a chance, you know, laugh, be happy, enjoy. And if you want to laugh, just pull up your BNB chart, take a peek at it, and you're like, all the time, right? Because fuck BNB. I hope it goes to fucking zero. Right? Even though I have like a bunch of holdings in BNB, but um, I'm just like, I just think it's so funny that that BNB set up so easy, right? So easy. It's probably the easiest play that we've ever played in the history of playing. Yeah, that's what's so great about our community here. Is we've got people from all over the world. So this community, we've got like a little melting pot of people, and everyone, like, we really don't have like shit starting in our community. It's pretty cool. You can see it trading in between our two levels. But yeah, other than that, you guys have a wonderful night, and I'll see everyone that is in the live trading room in the morning. I'll probably be getting up a little bit early, right? It's gonna be Monday. I gotta prepare for, you know, the day, but I'll probably be logging on like around 5:30 or something like that. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you all tomorrow.